Ladies and gentlemen, I completely disagree with the phrase that youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Please redo it. Youth should be the leaders from today. That is where it should start. It's an ideology that has been brought in to line people up instead of allowing people to line up and stand first. I also disagree with the adage that we need to train the youth to be leaders. But I think you need to learn from the youth to be leaders, because they bring into the perspective that you haven't yet thought of, because you are not a youth. When I became the Supervisor of Elections, ladies and gentlemen, I will share with you what it takes to be at the helm of a ship when you are young. People went to the media and they said he can't do it. Leaders of many CSOs stood up and said he's too young, he's too immature. Thank you. When you are immature, you are able to do things that mature people would never dare. When I became the Supervisor of Elections, ladies and gentlemen, there were questions raised about my education, whether I was qualified, whether I was related to someone. And this is why when you start asking, why aren't the youth engaging? Where are the youth of Fiji? This is why they are not engaging. For a female to take up a senior position, she must have slept with someone. There's no other way she can get a senior position. Why? Because no white hair. For a young man to take up a senior position, has to be related to someone, has to be of the same caste, religion, church. Otherwise, why would that person be in that senior position? Where are all the other people? Yesterday I was sharing a discussion with the editors of the newspapers of, not newspapers, with the editors of all the media in this country. And I shared with them a story of what a very senior journalist came to me in 2014 and said, you know, I have 20 years of experience in reporting about elections. I looked at him and I said, so you've only covered 3 elections. He was shocked. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let experience be the barrier to things. The head of IT in my office, programming department, is only 27 years old. And you are currently benefiting from the most state-of-the-art IT services that the Fijian Elections Office provides you. No one comes to question that. The 2018 general election was the first time the Fijian Elections Office delivered silent results. We gave you results on an app. It was developed by a 27-year-old, again. That app is still working, you still carry it around in your phones. It doesn't mean that the person has to be old to get the job done. I think it's just that the mentality needs to become young again to get the job done. If you want to talk about disenfranchisement of young voters, ladies and gentlemen, it is not because young voters are turned off, it is because you are turning them off. You look at volunteers in every political party and you look at who are the category of volunteers. Every event in Fiji, people come out and say, I am so proud of the young people who helped with putting this event together. They moved all the chairs, they moved all the desks, they brought all the food, they served all the food. Where are the young people in the speaking panel? Where are the ideas of the young people? You want to bring out the youth? Bring them out. That's how you do it. Ladies and gentlemen, in every organization there is an utter discrimination that starts with, we cannot have a young person take up a very senior position. In the last general election, one just has to look at how many political parties fielded younger people. Their ideas may be strange, their ideas may be different, but they are ideas. If you are willing to accept that young people are the leaders of tomorrow, that's the idea that's coming up tomorrow when they eventually become a leader. I'll take you back to an experience that I had, ladies and gentlemen. In 2016, in a meeting that I had with very senior consultants, I said that I would like to recruit the workers for the 2018 general election through a software. I said I don't want to do paper recruitment. I want people to come and sit a test on the laptop, and I want the laptop to process everything, and then at the end of the day I get my list of staff. I had advised at the time that it was impossible, it was not a good idea, and that we shouldn't go ahead with it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fijian Elections Office recruited the 11,000 staff for the 2018 general elections on the software. For the 2018 general election, we had minimal issues when it came to allocation of staff or finding people, because you have to allocate at least 5 people at 2,000 locations that will be working on one particular day, and you cannot make a mistake by sending Asenada in 2 different places. You have to make sure she attends in one place, that she has attended everything. But for the 2022 general election, ladies and gentlemen, a 24-year-old programmer in my office, Divnesh, redesigned the software, and now the software is the recruitment platform for all our positions in our office. Just 24 years old. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are discounting the youth, let's start with trying to fight back with such examples. Let the youth in your organizations do things that you talk about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to read out an excerpt from a letter that was written by Professor Penelope Andrews from Cape Town University. I found it to be one of the most powerful compilation of thoughts on why young people should vote. What I have done is, of course it is written in the South African context, but I have reworded it to suit our environment. Voting is your opportunity to express your voices about political decisions that currently impact your lives, as well as give input in decisions that will shape your futures. Voting allows you to choose leaders who are committed to the constitutional values of dignity, justice, and equity that may contribute towards the achievement of societal and personal goals. Poor electoral decisions made now may affect you negatively for many decades to come. Voting is the way that you can show support for good policies and ideas and reject those that are not constructive. Voting is empowering. Voting moves you beyond being a mere spectator and observer in Fijian politics to actual and effective participation in our democracy. By voting, you are making a statement that your opinion matters. Your vote is a declaration about how elected leaders should treat those who elected them, as well as the wider electorate. In this way, you are providing those who govern with an effective mandate and ensuring that they do not take your vote for granted. Your vote is your, can I just say this again? Your vote is your weapon against political indifference and immunity. You should vote because voting is not just an individual private right. It is a collective public resource. By voting, you are contributing to Fiji's collective aspirations for a healthy and engaged democracy. Your vote is your participation in the public ritual of the committed citizen. Your vote may be the best, your vote may be the most important contribution you can make to protecting future generations from insidious attempts to disenfranchise them. Finally, by voting, you reserve for yourself the rights and privilege to complain to your elected officials, often loudly and vociferously. This is not so if you do not bother to exercise your vote. Surely, your omission deprives you of the moral authority to complain. With your vote, you signal that you will hold government accountable, and you are not to be taken for granted. As I said, this morning I chose to remodel a letter, an open letter to the university students. by Dr. Penelope Andrews of Cape Town University. It was published on 25th July 2016 before the South African elections. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to wish this university all the best for its project, and I would like to also remind you, my hat back on as SOE, please ensure you comply with all the laws when you deliver your programs. Keep it apolitical. Vinaka Pakalati.